Hello, welcome to The Viewpoint. I am Omudumbuj. Today my guest exploded onto the musical scene in this country in the 2000s. Actually, he released his first single in 2000 and subsequently, in the subsequent years, would release more singles and albums and was a familiar voice on the airwaves throughout the 20s, throughout the 2000s. And then he went to the United States in 2013, where he managed to form an investment forum to attract investors to come and invest in this country. And he returned 2 years later. He came with projects and subsequently also secured all other projects. But so far, it's been very difficult for him, he says, to implement some of these projects, even though he's got all the paperwork, all the documentation, everything is in its right place. I have the pleasure today to welcome Modu Lamin Bah, popularly known as Egalitarian.
Thank you very much, Mr. Boj. Great being on this platform, and I feel very honored. Thanks for the privilege. Assalamu alaikum Gambia. It's Egalitarian, Modu Lamin Bah, musician, ambassador for SOS Children.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So we will go into that egalitarian bit, why you are named egalitarian, how you got that name.
Right.
But first, let's talk about these projects, really very important. Take it from when you were in the States. That's where you made the arrangements,
Yes.
was it?
Yeah.
So let's take it from there.
So it all started when I was in the US. I was doing a lot of community work through using my music, performing in the community, going to schools, teaching students about my life in the Gambia and my life in the school days, how I struggle to go to school, how many miles do I walk to go to school, and if I get late, sometimes I get beaten because I got late. So these are some of the information I was sharing with the American students, and they found it very interesting to listen to because it is challenging in the U.S., especially when it comes to the education sector. A lot of teachers are frustrated because of the attitude of the students in class. You understand? Simply because the way everyone is too free. So I was trying to come up with my story to show the American students that, despite the hardship we are going through, we are still focused. We are still respecting our teachers. We still want to learn. You understand? And with less privileges, with less opportunities. But here,
where in the States was this?
In Delaware. In
Delaware?
Yeah, Delaware.
Oh, okay.
So
how did you get the opportunity to get involved with the students? With
Delaware was never my plan. Accidentally I landed in Delaware. The plan was to perform in Washington, D.C., in Raleigh, and also in Atlanta. But for some reason, something changed. So we just found ourselves in New York and then realized that all the events that were supposed to happen were not really actually a real event. So we had to now find a way to get ourselves settled in the United States. But in part also I had a contract with Full Sail University. Full Sail University is a big university in Florida. So my contract with Full Sail was to go in and be produced as a musician, and so share my African music, my African culture with the University of Florida. So, but when we went to Full Sail with my band, and Full Sail decided that no, they were only interested in Egalitarian, not the whole band. So we had a conflict there. You understand? So we said, okay, you know what? If I cannot be here with my band, then I cannot leave these people here. I have to. Let's cancel the contract. Then
so was it that you went to the U.S. with your band?
Yes.
Okay. So
yes,
it was
some
a
Gambians.
band that went
yes,
over there.
the band.
Okay. What was the purpose for going?
The purpose was to perform the SOS Children villages in California, in Los Angeles, in Washington, D.C., in Atlanta, and Raleigh. So the idea was because I'm an ambassador for SOS Children, so we should do a partnership between the other SOS through the music. So I was trying to create a bridge between the Gambia SOS and the United States SOS. So this was the whole plan. But when we landed, we found that it wasn't actually the right setup. So this is how Egalitarian get to Delaware through a friend.
So the purpose for which you went to the U.S.
Yes.
when you got there, not fulfilled.
No.
So
Yes.
then
So now
plan B.
Yeah, plan B.
But weren't you required to return? What were, given the conditions of when you do get conditions for being given visas or being allowed to go?
Yes.
So wasn't that the condition that you were being given a visa for a purpose? How did it go?
No. My visa was a cultural visa.
Okay.
But it was a 2 weeks visa. So I overstayed.
All right.
Frankly, I overstayed.
Granted.
So, but then when that happened, a friend of mine took us to Delaware. So that was the first time I heard about Delaware.
Yes.
So in Delaware, when we got the opportunity to perform in various places, I was out at the restaurant. I met a musician. I introduced myself. He invited us to an event that was happening at night. So because we were saying, if nothing happens here, we should go back to Gambia. That night, when we got the invitation, we went to perform. That instant, we signed a contract with a manager. He said, "Look, I'm interested. We will do everything. We'll extend your stay. We'll give you gigs." So this is how we get familiarized with, got connected with Delaware. And then from there, I told him my mission is to share what I have, what I know, my experience in school, and my experience with music to the students. So, and then that's how I was opportune to give him the platform to go to different schools, different universities, and perform. Yes.
That's it. So then we move on. How did you come to this opportunity of having investors? In fact, from what I've read, on the papers, you formed an investment forum.
Yes.
How did that idea come about?
It all came through the schooling. So there was this guy called Mr. Tunde, who was the liaison for the mayor's office in Wilmington, Delaware. So when he heard about me, he was interested. It's like, okay, you know what, you're from Africa, you're from Gambia, and you're musicians. He invited us to this office and said, what can we do? I'm like, okay, I'm interested in organizing investment forums where we can invite Gambian dignitaries, Gambian businessmen to come and take the opportunity of what's available here. So he was, okay, let's do it. That's how but then we said, okay, now we are recording our first international CD, which is a live recording. It's called The Sensible Shoes. It's a 15-track, recorded in Delaware. So we said, after the recording, we'll do a reception and do a release. So, but then it all started when the time of Jammeh. So I had to write a letter to the Office of the President to invite the dignitaries. So I got a response from the Office of the President through Jammeh, the ex-president, that he has directed.
It was around 2014, I think.
Yeah, 2015, yes. So he has he has directed the now Minister of Foreign Affairs, Amadou Tangara, and Mamadou Tangara, and also the ex-ambassador at Washington DC, which is Cheikh Omar Faye, to attend the occasion. So, but
did they?
Unfortunately, at some point, Amadou Tangara could not attend because he was also called here. He was needed in the country, but he has referred the now CDS. The now CDS of the Gambia, Yankuba Dramé. He has assigned Yankuba Dramé to replace him. So we had a wonderful reception.
So he did?
Yes, they all came. We also had this, there was this businessman also that I invited called Lamin Seydi Bari. He's here in the system. So they were all invited. We had a wonderful, Lamin Seydi came the later part though. But then on this one we have the Yankuba Dramé, we have the then Minister Cheikh Omar Faye and Pierre Minte and all. They all came to this event and met with different stakeholders, the governors, senators and businessmen. So we exchanged, the idea was to see what can they lobby in from that. Then we had a reception, then performance, a CD release. Then when that happened, I thought this is a great opportunity. Hence, the Wilmington, where mayor's office has given me this opportunity, I want to redo this again, keep doing it until we are succeeded. So the next time that from that we organized another one where we invited Lamin Seydi Bari to be part of this delegation to see what they can do. Lamin came and we discussed. That's where this Moringa whole started. Moringa, and also this there was this chicken waste to be converted to as manure. So yeah, different companies came, solar companies. You know, Lamin said he was engaged from 10 in the morning to 10 in the evening, meeting different investors that wants to do business for Gambia.
So you mean you had a kind of Gambian delegation?
Yes.
Meeting the American
Yes.
business potential
Yes.
investors.
Yes.
So okay.
Yes. So from that, it went silent, and then I reorganized again, another forum, where we invited the ex CEO of GAIPA, Fall, but Fall could not come. He assigned his representative to come, and we had a wonderful meeting. But then at some point I saw things are not going the right direction, because I was just
meaning what?
Meaning I am just organizing the platform and giving it to people, but they're not making good use of it. So why can't I organize my own? But at some point, because something fishy went in during email correspondence.
What do you mean fishy?
Yeah, so they were trying to deviate the project from Gambia to Nigeria.
What do you mean they?
Yes.
Surely I wouldn't expect the Gambian delegation to,
yes,
to
there
do
was a
that.
time.
Or I would expect that the Americans were also committed.
Yeah, the Americans were. That's the reason. That's how I got the information that they were trying to.
Who are they? Who are these?
They were trying
to derail.
They were trying to deviate
the
project from the Gambia to Nigeria.
Who were they?
I would like to, keep it the way it is, if you don't mind, but we'll just like to put this in the saddle. But they know themselves.
I mean, absolutely, I understand that.
Yeah.
The idea of discretion
yes.
and all of them, granted.
Yes.
But again, if we really want to have transparent
yes.
relationships,
yes.
don't you think that at some point we must have the cojones, we must have the courage
yes.
to be mentioning things? As long as I am saying the truth,
yes.
as they say the truth and damn the devil.
Yes, that's true. That's very true, and I agree with you. It happened.
Okay, let's move on.
Okay, it happened.
Okay.
But then the guy came back to my American partners came back to me, said we are because they are having trouble in achieving something in the Gambia. Now they're taking us to Nigeria. I told them, if you're anything that goes outside of Gambia is out of my jurisdiction. I cannot do anything. Whatever comes later, whatever you encounter, don't come to me. My interest is Gambia for now, because I'm a Gambian and I'm African, but then my focus is Gambia.
But it appears as if then they were not really fully committed to the forum, were they?
Yes.
I mean, they were just looking for opportunities anywhere would have done. I mean,
well,
Sierra Leone, Gambia, whatever. So they were really not committed to Gambia, were they?
And that's the reason why I ended up setting up my own company called Continental Africa LLC, which I registered under Egalitarian, under Mohamed Lamin Bah in the United States. So we did a project, Moringa Biofuel. That's the main first project that we were invited. We came through GAIPA. That was we got an invitation because of Moringa Biofuel project. We came through GAIPA, 2015, and GAIPA took us around to the relevant authorities. We then signed an MOU with NAWEC. Ended up signing an MOU with NAWEC to start working, because when we came with Moringa, we understand because Moringa Biofuel is a project that has its own power generation, because you have to set up a company, you have to set up a community, and when you set up a community, you need to provide them with electricity.
So when you form your company, right?
Yes.
How did you get these investors? Take us through the process.
Yes, back to the forum.
Back to the forum.
During the forum, I already got these investors that want to come. They had the interest of coming to Gambia, but they were trying to deviate them out from Gambia. So I said, okay, you know what, guys, here I am. I have already set up my own company. Now I'm going to be the front runner. I will lead this project and bring it to Gambia. This is how, and because they've also seen my commitment in the United States. So they said, wherever you go, we'll follow you. So that's how when I got their okay that when I set up this company, they will come after me, they will come to Gambia with me. They said, when I got that confirmation, Then I went ahead and registered my company, and then came to Gambia. And at some point, we invited them. They came. You know, it's a long process, but
Of course. But I wonder, where did you decide for that to go for the biodiesel fuel, as you said? Did you come to Gambia to look at what actually the country needs, or was it decided, did you sit in the US and think that we will need biodiesel fuel? How did the idea come about?
Okay, biodiesel is a business that is happening in the West, in South America, USA, in Europe, because they're using biodiesel to mix it with diesel to cut down emission. Some are using corn, some are using soybeans, some are using even rice. But they've seen that the use of corn and bean, it's making the cost of living hard, or for some normal consumption hard for someone like me, or for a normal person to buy. They said, let's go out of using corn and allow corn to be consumed by human. So let's find another alternative. That's how this moringa came. You know, the moringa plant came during that conference. I have all the videos of the conference, when the guys were doing their presentation, how much money is going to be made, how much is going to be invested. All those videos I have, and it's been shared with some relevant authorities in the Gambia now. They know, they understood, but here we are.
That's it. Yeah. So you settled
again,
on that. Then you came.
Yes, I didn't mean to interrupt. But the reason why I also went in with the moringa, because I know biodiesel, when you say in Africa, is going to, it's something new. But because of the opportunities it has, the opportunities of employment it has, I said, okay, this is good for me, because I just lost a cousin who was trying to cross the Mediterranean Sea. And I know there are a lot of Gambians that lost their brothers and sisters trying to cross because of opportunity. Let's push this to Gambia, and let's, the job employment it has, this opportunity it has, let it be given to the Gambian youths. This way at least we have a safer nation, we have a safer future. Because if the youths are safe, then we tend to have a very successful future. But if the youths are not safe and not well taken care of, then the future is going to be tough and tougher. So this is why for me personally, I put all my energy in this waste to energy. In this moringa biodiesel project.
That's it. So how many partners were there?
When you say partners,
with this particular biodiesel fuel, the investors, those who are willing to come with
right now, the company, we have about 3 companies. I had about 9 investors that worked out on us, 9 investors. But right now I have about 3 companies that really want to do this project. And in fact, one of the companies, I understand the ministry were assigned the embassy in Washington, D.C. to do a due diligence to see whether this company is okay or not. And that process has been done. And a date was set for signing, and the date is now 5 years. So
that's, let's take it a step at a time.
Okay.
So you came back with this idea,
right,
of trying to encourage in this country, biodiesel fuel production of it. So when you came, where did you go? What were the channels?
Okay.
Take us through the process. When people come with such ideas, these proposals, what's the process?
Okay, first of all, again, we came through GAIPA.
Yes.
GAIPA introduced us to the different stakeholders.
The import-export agents.
But then it was Jammeh's era.
Yes.
Then election passed. I was then introduced to the president. I met the president directly. I was introduced to him because I have a project that will employ 90,000 people. So I was introduced to him because the president used to live opposite me in Burfoot, just right opposite.
But this you're talking about here, President Jammeh, right?
No, Barrow.
No, you met Barrow.
Yeah, Barrow.
Okay.
Barrow used to live.
But when you brought your idea, that was President Jammeh's period. So what happened there?
Then I understand there was a time the president has given instruction to the current Minister of Energy. I'm trying to recall the name.
Isn't it Abdou Diop?
Abdou Diop. That he's interested in this project. And Abdou Diop took us to Ministry of Trade and said, even if it's I remember fully what Abdou Diop said, even if it's 1 kilowatt, we will sign this project because we want this thing to happen. But then election came and things changed. We understood.
Okay, this was around 2016
Yeah,
then,
yeah,
when the
2016.
election
Yeah.
happened.
Yes.
Okay,
So
all right.
then, after election, we met when Barrow won.
All right.
I was introduced to Barrow by a friend. So because I was living right opposite. So I went to his house. I was introduced to him, and when we spoke about this project, right there he told Ami Bojang, give him appointment, let him come on the 3rd. I'm trying to remember the name, the month, but I know the date was on the 3rd. Kairaba Beach Hotel. So Kairaba Beach Hotel, we went and do a presentation. When we did the presentation, we presented 2 projects, because when our conversation or our agreement with NAWEC was, NAWEC wants to do this want to do this energy thing, but they want to see if we can come up with an idea or a technology that will tackle the waste, because the Bakwante dumps area is becoming a problem. You understand? So it can be come up with a technology that will tackle this, the waste and the sewage, because there was a time the sewage was going into the sea without untreated. Yeah? So when we came back, meeting Barrow, we had already these 2 projects. One is the waste to energy through the use of pyrolysis. Pyrolysis is a technology that turns any waste to energy, except rock or metal. But from medical waste to organic, inorganic, it will convert it to energy. So when we met with Barrow in Kairaba, we did a presentation for 2 projects. He clearly told us that he is interested in the Moringa biofuel because of the job, but with waste, this waste is a problem. Let's find a way to deal with this waste, and then we come to Moringa.
Okay, so here now, you had secured, as it were, investors for the biodiesel fuel.
Yes.
And then, so when you came back, suddenly you changed to waste to energy.
Yes.
The investors there,
coming
from where? The same people?
The same people. Because it was all, the waste to energy, because for us the focus was the energy. You understand? So for the investors that are investing in the biodiesel, because they know they're going to do a communities, social housing, so they're interested in anything that brings in business. So when we spoke to them, they have a sub farm that is a much smaller one, because the Moringa biodiesel is $325 million project. This one is $210 million project. They then said, okay, we can deal with this company to do this waste to energy while we focus on the Moringa biofuel.
Okay,
yes.
but this is interesting. So altogether would make it what?
535.
Yeah, $500 million.
As I'm sitting to you now, I have a credit facility of $535 million.
But this is it. I wonder, did you do sort of any study to look at the profitability of these schemes? I mean, that's a huge amount of money.
The Moringa project alone, before it's implemented, it'll take 5 years to implement the project. Once it's implemented, and even if it's loan, in 2 years you pay off the loan, because every year the revenue net is $203 million from the selling of the biodiesel, from the selling of the honey, from the selling of the fish, because we will do fish farming, from the selling of the seed cakes, from the selling of the leaf of the moringa. There's a lot of things going on. And also the beauty of this project is that from one moringa to another moringa is 10 meters. So this 10 meters, what are you going to do with it? We want to intercrop some of these vegetables or these crops that we import outside and eat. We want to grow them here and eat fresh, then export.
So you had written all
everything,
the details,
everything
your plans, the blueprint.
It's all been submitted to the officers of the relevant authority. They all see it. The president see it. They all see what we intend to do. It's all there.
And then what happened? Did they approve?
Where? We're still here 5 years.
I don't understand. Any information? Have they communicated to you? Why not?
Just to be very, I want to be as transparent, as much transparent as possible as I can, right? 2 weeks before election, I met with the president in Kerouan. I was invited to sit with him 2 weeks before election. And I came, when we met with him, I was like, we are here, we want the youths, all you see outside today, behind you are all youths. This project will help empower those youth who are running after you. We want you to approve this project. Then he said, okay, now he's not in the mood of discussing projects in the election. He wants to win. That's his focus, is to win. I said, but this is something also that the youths that are running after you wants. Because at the end of the day, when you become president, they'll go home. But what do you have for them? This is a project you can present. This is a project you can utilize and empower those youths. But then he said he was going to refer me to someone. They set up this new office where now all investment pass through. When he told me that, I said, but you have already referred me to the same office and they've already advised yes. He told me who? I said, you referred me to one called Nyangado, Alaji Nyangado, who is currently in Rosi, if I'm not mistaken. You've referred me to him and they've advised. Now you are referring me back to the same office. For me, this is not telling well. This is what I said.
What do you think was going on?
I don't know.
If apparently the president approves and has given instruction for others to move it on forward, and they do not do that, and nothing comes out of it.
Yeah, if that's the case, but I feel like there's lack of authority.
What do you mean by lack of authority?
Yeah, because if a president has the overall say. If he's interested in anything, if he said, let it happen, it must happen.
Do you think that your proposals were viable proposals?
Well, it is. Because the financiers are working with the World Bank. Some of my financiers work with the World Bank. You understand? But the president, his worry is World Bank and IMF. But for me, I'm saying that's not the worry. The worry is the responsibility of making sure this project is done well. Because the financing requires a guarantee. This guarantee is saying, you will guarantee this project for 5 years. You will have to guarantee, the government will have to guarantee this project for 5 years. If it's implemented, if the project is guaranteed with no problem, with no one tampering with the project, then it will be converted to project equity. Now, the beauty of that is that the investors now, instead of pay back the loan, now they become an investor. They'll become a shareholder. If the business make back $100, we'll share the $100. And in this $100, the government has 20%.
If the business doesn't make any profits,
it is, because it's already been written off as a project equity, as a humanitarian, because it's designed as a humanitarian project. You know, because when you're employing 90,000.
But I said the amount of money, and then it being designated as a humanitarian project.
Yes.
And what I understand from that is that the main focus is not profit.
No.
But investment.
No, is that
investment? The focus is profit always, isn't it?
No, but because of the way it's designed, the entity responsible for investment, they want to make money out of it, but through equity, not to return back the loan. It's a business in business. But we are saying the only obstacle right now here is responsibility for making sure that the project is secured for 5 years. Because we're seeing here a lot of projects starts for 1 year, 2 years, and then it stops. People will ask what happened. They'll how much they have. And that, for us, we don't want to go through that.
So it appears the sticky point here is the guarantee.
Yes.
The government doesn't want to.
No, they don't, because they know if they want to succeed in this business, if they want to have a secure project, if they know they are okay, they will not tamper with the project, they will issue the guarantee. Because the guarantee says, it's all there, they've seen it. From the Ministry of Finance, I'm invited by the Ministry of Finance, the government, to come and negotiate and implement the project. I was invited that we are okay, we should come and finalize. Because they've gone through all the regulations, all the terms and conditions of the contract. But why it's changed is because of maybe, I don't know, they don't want to take responsibility. But for us now, what we are trying to say is that we want to go ahead and do the project with or without the government.
Yes, you see, Mr. Bahia, I am at pains, really, to understand why government would be reluctant or they'd be dragging their feet given these two wonderful, viable projects
Yes.
that you claim that will employ 90,000. How did you come to that figure? How did you?
Before I even go to that, there are so-called close aide of the president who used to be at my house, who knows about this project. Currently, they are very powerful, but they are doing nothing about this project. So for me, that's what pains me. You've known, you've seen, you know what the benefit it has. This project has. You understand?
But why can't you go it alone without?
Yeah. So now that's what I'm saying now, because what we are trying to we are now strategizing. We are trying to restructure our way of approach, because the reason is that. And you know, if you don't have any support from government, it's always difficult as a private investor who wants to invest. It's always difficult because anyone can come anywhere and claim ownership of land and claim ownership of, you know, it's happened, it's here. So, but this is why we tend to request for the government partners, just make sure no one will say this is my area or we are not aware of this.
But we've got the law.
Yeah.
But the ultimate arbitrator of those matters.
Yes.
I mean, even the government, if you like, can lose against the law.
Yes.
Regarding land rights,
yes.
Surely isn't that to do with the law?
Yeah, but again, it's the same law that is delaying us. It's the same law. So you have to be very vigilant.
Or is it political will? Which one are you talking about? I thought earlier on you were referring to political will, but I'm not sure.
The law is still the law. But the political will also has an impact, has power in the law. You understand?
Okay. What aspects of the law are delaying? What do you think? Because you've mentioned the law. What aspects of the law are delaying this?
I could just say because don't really.
No, I know that you're not a lawyer. I don't want the chapter and verse.
Yeah, so
just in what sense is the law delaying it? That's all.
Yeah, in the sense that there might be changes, because through my meeting with the PPP department not long ago, that maybe there's some hidden write-up in the language. I'm like, no. There's nothing hidden.
PPP, you mean the public-private partnership?
Yes, yes.
I think apparently there's a bill. There's not yet an act. Yeah. I think there's a bill in the National Assembly.
Mr. Moja, I met with different stakeholders in this project. It's been 5 years. Since I was invited, I moved back with my family because I thought we are ready to move on. I moved back with my family. But the ministers, the government, the president himself, where is his family? They're all abroad. You understand? But because we have something that we believe in this country. I also know what I have behind me. I know how ready my investors are. That's why when I was invited, I had to move back with my family. Because US is true, it's a land of opportunity, but it's not my dreamland. The Gambia is my dreamland. I die in the US, I'm brought back. I'm going to be brought back. So what the opportunities I had before me, it can only fit in Gambia.
That's it. But what has taken you so long for you to decide that, okay, we're going to do it alone? You have access to half a billion dollars.
Yes.
You could have come here, get the appropriate licenses.
Yes.
Appropriate documentation to enable you to operate. To operate.
That's true.
Why didn't you do
that?
Because you had access to so much finance, and you said and operate somewhere. You even had land.
Yes. Kiang Karantaba.
In Kiang Karantaba.
Yes.
80,000, is it hectares?
It's 30,000 hectares.
30,000 hectares.
That was measured. But now the reason why we still wanted to go with the government, because with government it would have been the fast step. It will move faster. It will move faster with the security, you understand?
But this is interesting.
Yeah.
So when anybody comes around with project without government, you're giving me the impression that without government's involvement, it wouldn't materialize.
With this magnitude, no, it won't work. With this magnitude, it won't work. You can try it. They have tried that. Yes, there are so many projects that people came, but it will never work. Because you know, the perception that the outsiders have about Africa. Anything can happen anytime. They will throw a government, and the laws will change. They will disobey this. Anything can happen.
Why not then break it down to what they call bite-sized chunks?
Yes.
Break it down to what is doable.
Right.
Without the government, and you'll see the effects, because
Right.
after all, you're doing it for the people.
Yeah.
Youth, women, for development.
Okay.
And for you as well, you said, it's really a humanitarian
Yeah.
fund, as
Yeah.
it were. That's
Yes,
what you've
yes,
mentioned.
yes.
So here, the focus
Yes.
is not the profit,
Yes.
but for the people,
Yes.
what will they will benefit.
Yes.
Why didn't you break it down?
Because our investors have a clientele of the biodiesel. So we have two things. We have the farm, we have the refinery. We have to set up a refinery in the Gambia to refine the biodiesel. We are not allowing the refinery to be outside of the Gambia. We want our Gambians to understand how things operate. We want our Gambian to be part of those that run the refinery, that, you know, so that we can also have a better understanding how the outside world operate without even going to their country. So this was it. So to start it smaller will really affect if you're setting up a refinery of $35 million gallon.
But exactly, this is also my point.
Yeah.
You know that at this point it's extremely difficult.
Yeah.
So far, it's been proving impossible to
Yes.
do that.
Yes.
Does it have to be that the state of the nation? There are so many different sectors: education, health.
Yeah.
One can invest, can
Yeah.
help people in
Yes.
so many
Yeah.
different ways.
Right.
Does it have to be this particular project right now, given the difficulties?
I think for me, I think this project right now is the key. Yeah, personally, at a personal level, or at my organization, Egalitarian Movement, and we are doing what we are doing. We are doing what we can with the communities. We are helping people out. We are trying our best as Gambians to support our fellow Gambians. People outside there, they know, they're here, they understood what I'm saying. I'm not lying against anyone. Whatever I said is what I done. So for the humanitarian part, it's on. But then we want to come to the bigger platform. The bigger platform I see why we can't partner with the government. Because at the end of the day,
We'll hold that question
All
there
right.
and go for a break.
All right.
When we return, we'll go back to that.
thank you.
As the fastest growing GSM company in the Gambia, QCell has the widest 4G plus coverage in the country, 3 times faster internet speed than our competitors. So switch now and dial *335# and enjoy what true 4G feels like. QCell, the Gambia's trusted network.
Thinkendo nata mansa kendo aguli ngawuli Mokana tukoma kadon fokoina aguli ngawuli Thinkendo nata mansa kendo aguli ngawuli Mokana tukoma kadon fokoina aguli ngawuli Chito Murambeno Chito
Welcome back to the Viewpoint. My guest today is Modu Laminba, known as Egalitarian. We all remember him from the 2000s when he was rocking our airwaves with many hits. We'll probably listen to some of them later. But here, really, talking about projects that you proposed, you brought to the Gambia, but still they've not been able to materialize because you think of the feet dragging, if you like, of the administration of the president. And just before the break, you had a question.
Yeah.
Why can't you work with the government?
Why can't we?
So you tell me,
Yeah.
why is it that, or what do you think is the reason why you've not been able to work with government? What do you say is the character of this government, somebody coming from outside with these projects, investors, and then having to implement? What do you think is going on?
The will is the key. The will. You know,
But isn't that odd?
the will?
What I mean is, somebody's bringing something good for you. So
Yeah,
why
because-
should you be reluctant to take it?
Because
That's what I mean. The logic doesn't
I'm
add up.
even surprised with President Barrow, you know, with the U-turn he took. Because first time when he heard about it, he jumped. He said, give him appointment. I'm interested. This is a legacy. Even the second to last meeting with him, he told me this is a legacy for me. You know, but the problem is, the problem is that I see in him is that, you know, the authority, the power. Does he know what he has? Does he know the power he has? Does he know what he can do with what he has? This is the question mark. You understand?
What do you mean by that? What would you point to in
Because
what he has done to demonstrate, as it were?
Yeah, because okay, here we are going to be
point.
talking. We are going to be talking about two projects. The other project is waste to energy. The waste to energy was signed halfway. We've signed the power purchase agreement. We've gotten the concessional agreement. We've gotten the approval from the National Environment Agency. We've gotten the comfort letter from his office of the president, and we still yet to have the sublease land for the project. We are still yet to sign the operational agreement for 5 years now. And there was a time he took clearly said that Musa Drame, he's hearing me. He's a friend of mine. Go to his office, it will be easy. But it get tougher at that time. You understand?
And when you say tougher, what does it mean? What exactly do you mean? Is it to see him? Is it the right official to give you the right document? When you say tough, how does it work?
Tougher is, in Ministry of Lands, Continental was not requesting government to lease the land to us. The lien has to be under the jurisdiction of the council. It is, like let's just say in Brikama, because the land is allocated in Brikama, Sanyang. When you go in Sanyang, going to Brikama, the quarry was supposed to be the land that they identify for the project. But then that land was supposed to be leased to Brikama Area Council, and then Brikama Area Council subleased that land to Continental. This way our investor will say, okay, now we have a secure project. We have a project, we have a land. But then the concessional agreement we signed...
But Brikama Area Council hasn't done that. It hasn't subleased.
No. I went to the Ministry of Land, to Musa Drame's office. We've discussed this, and he is giving us a letter that says we don't need to extend, because I told him we are still fighting. We need you to extend this concessional until we get the operational agreement from council. Kindly, he has written a letter that says this project you don't need to extend, is still valid.
But would you blame Barrow for the decision of Brikama Area Council?
No. The problem was not from Brikama Area Council.
Yeah.
The problem came to KMC, because we are working with 3 councils in order to get the total amount of waste that we need. We need to collect from Brikama Area Council. We need to collect from KMC. We need to collect from BCC. So, but then the governing, like the leader in 3, it was KMC. But then we had issues, because I can say I was one of the first partners, investors that met with Talib. When we met with Talib, we gave him our project. We have already signed the concessional agreement. All we need is just the operational agreement. You understand? So we have given him the project. So it's been back and forth there. When we go to KMC, it's a different vibes. When I say the different vibe is that there's a delay. The KMC is blaming the Ministry of Lands for the delay. When we go to the Ministry of Lands, the Lands is also blaming KMC for a delay. So we know there was this conflict between the two.
Okay, but was the decision taken to give the land? Who took the decision?
There's the 3 councils. They decide where they want it.
So all of them, they had decided to give land?
Yes, the land was...
But was anywhere identified?
Yes, in Sanyang.
Sanyang was identified.
When you're from Sanyang going to Brikama, there's a quarry.
And they had definitively agreed to give it?
I even had the sketch plan. I even had the sketch plan of that area. So now to southeast it to continental Africa became a problem. So we are fighting back and forth, because when our partners were ready.
I don't understand.
Yeah.
They had given it, but yet to sublease it, it's difficult.
Yes.
How does it work? Then it means they had not given it.
No, what I mean, they already is given to Brikama Area Council. Brikama Area Council should now sublease through the agreement, should sublease it to council. But before subleasing it to council, we must sign an operational agreement.
So you mean the land was allocated?
Yes.
And Brikama Area Council were instructed
Yes.
to sublease to you.
That's what we were told at the Ministry of Lands. That's what we were told at the Ministry of Lands.
But no document given.
Not good. We haven't received any document. The only document I received from the Ministry of Land is that we don't need to request for extension. This thing, the concessional agreement or the project is still valid. So since then, we are fighting to get the operational agreement. We are fighting to get the document, the sublease title on the Continental for 5 years now.
This is all quite curious. So in all these incidents...
Yeah, but then the toughest thing was the power purchase agreement, which is NAWEC. NAWEC agreeing that they will buy the power was the toughest document to ever receive. And every investor, when we told them that we are still waiting for A, B, and they said, this is the, what kind of system is
What
it?
did you sign with NAWEC? Was it an MOU or
No,
an agreement?
a contract, not an agreement that they will buy the power from us at this much for 25 years.
But by then you had not begun to produce.
Yes.
So it was just a hypothetical stuff. In the case that you produce...
Yeah, in the case we produce,
then we will
buy.
So that was an easy document to sign, I think.
No, it's
because you have to produce
it's the most
before.
difficult. Is the most difficult document to sign.
So this is quite interesting.
Yes.
So in all these areas,
Yeah.
I feel, officials will agree,
Yes.
verbally,
Yeah.
as it were, but yet they wouldn't follow up with action.
So this
Why
is my
is that?
This is my, sorry to use the language, sickness. This is the sickness in me that I find it very hard to understand. How can we move with a system that is really not responsible? I feel this is not a responsible system, because there are a lot of projects that came in and failed, and they will continue to fail. The projects will continue to fail.
Where are the points of failure, or what?
Just say people are corrupt. Corruption is part of it. I'll use corruption as part of it. And
in this instance, how would corruption work?
well, corruption means everything. It means someone who wants you to do something before they accept you to do something.
Were you ever asked for a kickback by any government official?
Yes. I'm on life. It's egalitarian, Gambian artist. Yes. But I won't mention.
No need
Yes.
for that. You've already given me a flavor of
Yes.
how you do things.
Yes.
Um,
When the time comes to mention, we will mention. But yes. And for me, I'm sick and tired of that.
Did you refuse to give it, or did you give it?
I refused at some point.
But you also knew that by refusing, then you can never implement this project.
That's why
then why are you still hopeful?
That's why we are still fighting, because the message is not the system. The message is the future, the youths, the people, to understand, because they will also have the same opportunities, but we should not allow them to act the same way, because one has to continue fighting to inject the positivity in the mindset of those that do not have the opportunity. For once they have the opportunity, they will always remember those messages.
Why did you refuse to give?
Why should I give?
The kickback.
Why should I give? It's against my...
The reason is obvious.
Yeah, but
look at your project now, it's in limbo.
It's against my ethics and against my policy. It takes 100 years to implement it, we'll wait till 100 years.
What about your investors?
My investors...
They may want to go to Nigeria, just as you mentioned earlier, or Sierra Leone, or anywhere else.
I have different people that want to invest in egalitarian. I have different people that want to invest in Murlamin Ba. Heads of state, businessmen, very powerful people. If this one goes, the other one is there.
So what are you going to do next?
I'm happy that I got contacted by the Master Farmers Association. There's this association called the Master Farmers. We're now trying to see how best we can strategize. And instead of giving the project in one area, we'll now put it, divide it into region. We'll do region 1, 10,000 hectares of land, plus 5,000 for
Which
community.
one? Which project?
The
Because
Moringa.
the Moringa
For
one.
the waste
so
to energy.
that is the main.
Yeah, for me, the focus is that because the youths there are so many youths outside there who are well educated, even if not well educated, but who are very positive, who are really yearning for a place to work, who are looking for an opportunity. I've met with different youths outside who are really confused simply because they don't have the opportunity. So this project, for me, this Moringa project is an opportunity for Gambian youths and for the Gambian women. And this is, if it takes 10 years to get there, we'll get there.
So you see it as the silver bullet to,
It is.
to sort our problems,
It is.
our youth
Because
issues
there's no,
concerning youth. I mean, is that realistic? Surely.
Let me ask you this question. Why is it that the dollar is becoming stronger than the dollars?
I'm here to ask questions, not answer them.
Sorry. But because for my belief is simply because we don't have enough businesses that brings the foreign currency, the dollar. So this Moringa project will create dollar flow in the country. Because $203 million, there's no project that brings that in the Gambia right now, in a year. There's no project.
That's it. Maybe that's very curious.
Yeah.
Maybe a lot of people think that you really cannot raise that. That's why they've not.
Yeah, because they've not those that say no, those that don't understand because they've not gone through the numbers that we have, through what we are selling, through what we are through what is on the table. If they've gone through that, they will understand. They will accept. You understand? Because our numbers are right. It's not just me, Egalten. Egalten is just representing this project. But the people who came or who really design are powerful people, worked in NASA and all that. They are very strong people. They're very powerful. So this is a lucrative project that I think the Gambians should not let go. I should really hold it, should really embrace it, should really support it,
Tell us a bit more about your egalitarian movement.
Yeah.
You said you formed an egalitarian movement.
Yeah.
Where's your head office?
Right now it's going to be in
head office?
Kotu. It's going to be in Kotu. Egalitarian movement head office is going to be in Kotu. And also it's all about engaging with youth because again, the country is turning to a different page, a page that we don't recognize, because it's becoming unsafe to walk at night. It's becoming unsafe to walk to certain areas even during the day. So we feel that all those that are happening, if it's done by Gambians, we need to talk to them. We need to see what their problems are and see how best we can solve their needs. So the egalitarian movement is here to help the Gambian youth and is here to empower the Gambians. It's not just egalitarian. Gambians should take ownership of this movement, should take ownership of this project. But the movement is here to make sure if one is not feeling well, doesn't have the power, how can the egalitarian movement come and help the person?
That's it.
Yes.
So this movement, you call it a movement.
Yeah.
What's the membership? What's the numbers?
Membership is about 7-8 members. But we are going to we are going to spread it to countrywide. So we'll have every region a member. Every region will have our members there. So we want to show the system that we can do it if we believe in ourselves.
That's
We
it.
want to show the government that we can really impact our nation, we can really impact our people if we are ready. Again, everything is inside. The will is the key. If you can pretend...
You need resources, you need will, you need resources, you need money, you need all sorts of things.
You think we don't have money?
That's what we're talking about. So what project? I mean, one understands the will. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody's got good will towards
Yeah.
this or that or the other. But
No, I don't agree. Because
you don't agree?
No, I don't agree.
You
That
don't
everyone
think-
has the
well,
goodwill. I don't agree in
one
that.
must be charitable
Yeah,
towards others.
I respect your opinion, but I'm not in agreement with that. Because
Absolutely.
if we are in agreement with that, today Gambia would have been on a different platform. That's my opinion.
Oh, that's absolutely. It's just the logic that
Yeah.
we may all have that will, the good feelings for Gambia, but we have different means. So people might begin. You see, the ends. It's difficult. We all more or less have the same ends. We want good. We want beautiful. We want all of that. It's just that what we regard to be good, what we regard to be the best means, we will always disagree.
Yeah, we can feel good about us being good, but not me as legislator. Let me use example. Egalitarian feel good being himself, to see himself only in the good state, but doesn't wish Mr. Mboj in the same stage. This is what I'm saying. We can all have the same positive mind, yeah, but we can have that to ourselves. But then how about sending that energy to Mr. Mboj, to her, to someone else? This is the energy. For me, this is what I believe. Because the contacts that we are having, the network we have, if I was brought to this world, into this world just to serve myself, just me, Allah would not allow me to meet with all those people.
So what projects, the egalitarian movement, what projects really have you, are you implementing right now, sort of in fulfillment of your vision?
Yeah, we are targeting a lot of, I think we have, I've visited so many places. Even today, before coming here, I visited a place that we are going to support. I've been somewhere yesterday, and we are still helping a lot of students. And egalitarian movement is doing that. Even those families that are affected with flooding in Bhutan, we've supported, and the football teams and all that. It's going. The list goes on. We are doing what we can at our own level, but we thought with this we can impact the whole nation. Yes, but if the vision is not the same, we still want to maintain our vision. We'll get there with this government or another government. We'll still get there, but then we still want to continue impacting our people.
The musical career, is it gone now?
No, never. We're back. The reason because of the silence, simply because of this project. But it took my time. I put a lot of energy in this project. But again, I'm not saying I've regretted the step. I've learned a lot, and it has really empowered me. My encounter with the dignitaries, with the stakeholders in the Gambia has really empowered me, has really educated me a lot. And inshallah, I don't wish to see anyone going through that. And I don't want, if this anyway, I am well content. I learned a lot from that process. But Egalitarian is back with the music. We just released an EP now. We have something coming up with Nigerian artists, with Nigerian producers, with Hakim in Cape Verde. I was in Cape Verde, so just a couple of days ago.
That's it. Just 10 seconds. Egalitarian. Yes. Why egalitarian? Who gave you the name?
I believe in equality. I believe that you and I, we are the same. If your hand hurts, my head will hurt. If you're high, if you're in trouble, then I'm going to be weak. So if your energy is right, it supports my energy.
Almost poetic there. Thank you very much, Modu Lamin, popularly known as Egalitarian, for that nice conversation. I genuinely enjoyed that discussion, quite revealing in many ways. Thank you very much to our viewers. Until next time, I'm Modu Mboj. Goodbye.